Hello and welcome along to the preview of the 2016-17 Big Bash, all courtesy of TABtouch. David Shortte, I'm joined by former Australian international and, of course, former coach of the Western Warriors in Wayne Clark. How are you, Clarkie?
Yeah, well, David. Looking forward to it.
All right, let's get stuck into these two Melbourne sides, kicking off with the Melbourne Renegades, and they've gone a very, very strong here with a spin focus, picking up Sunil Narine, our own Brad Hogg, Georgie, can't believe he's ducked off to the East Coast, and Xavier Doherty. So there's three guys there that are very much in the top echelon of spin bowlers in the shorter version of the game. That will be a real plus for the Renegades this big
Yeah,
match.
and it's interesting how they're going to balance them, and because obviously I can't see him playing the whole three of them, but it'd be interesting to see how many games Hoggy plays. But his record in it means that they'll definitely get him in there, and Narine, of course, he's excellent. So, yeah, playing at Etihad, they'll get a lot of bowling.
Yeah, most definitely. I thought they're a really interesting side. They're a dangerous side because, of course, they've got their skipper, Aaron Finch, who in this version of the game can absolutely light up a match and basically ruin a game in the space of 5 or 6 overs. If he's still there after 6 overs, often he can really carve an attack apart and set his side up for a really big score.
Yeah, very much so. But again, we've got to be aware that maybe the second half of the season he might not be there with the ODIs. So,
correct.
You know, that's a thing when you're punting. You've got to have a look at the depth that they've got. One guy, I think, batting-wise, is Cam White, who's just been in brilliant form leading into the Big Bash. So if he can carry that on, he is another dangerous player, and he can score runs and score them very, very quickly.
Absolutely. Now, there's a little bit of WA flavour as well with the Renegades this time round. Of course, Nathan Rimington, who plays with the Warriors, is part of the side. Brad Hogg, as we touched on there, and young Marcus Harris, who has had a really good start to the domestic season as well.
Yeah, he has, and yeah, we wish him luck. You know, we'd like to have him here at the Scorchers and all that, but he's a player that he's just developing his game, and I think the 2020 is going to suit him where he's at the moment. He can hit the ball well, he'll open the batting, and he can get them off to a good start.
Yeah, he can be quite destructive. And of course, from an overseas perspective, Narine coming in, he's one of the great spin bowlers in world cricket right now. He could take a stack of wickets through the Big Bash tournament. And I thought that Dwayne Bravo, he's such a dynamic player. He can do it with the bat, he can do it with the ball, he's an incredible fieldsman.
Yep.
He is one of the real stars of the Big Bash once again coming up for this summer, Dwayne Bravo.
Well, that's what you need in a side, someone with an X factor, and he's got it. Another one coming in, I think, with James Pattinson. We'll be interested to see how he goes. I mean, coming back from fitness and, you know, from an Australian point of view, everyone wants to see him succeed. But in this, I think he's going to play a big part.
Absolutely. Well, let's get down to the predictions on where we think they will finish. I'm tipping a pretty good season for the Renegades. I've had them finishing third on the table. Clarkie, how about you?
Well, yeah, I just think the depth in their batting, I think they're going to have to rely on guys like Cooper and Ferguson to step up. I'm putting them in at fourth. I think they'll make the finals because I think their bowling depth is very, very good. But fourth for me.
Okay, and players to watch. I'm sticking with Narine. Like, he's one of my favourite spin bowlers in world cricket right now. And I just think in the shorter version of the game, there'll be guys trying to hit him out of the park. I can see him taking a lot of wickets.
Yep, definitely. I'm going to go with Cameron White. You know, he's an ageing cricketer, but gee whiz, he's in good form, and he's an exciting 2020 player. So, and of course, and I agree with you with Narine. I think he's going to take a lot of wickets this tournament.
Absolutely. So there are a couple of players to watch out for there from the Renegades. And across town, the Melbourne Stars. Well, they've sort of been one of those sides that every time the market's opened up, the Stars have been the favourites. They've been expected to win, but here we are heading into this season once again, and they're yet to get the job done. Is this the season for the Stars to get the cash? Time will tell. They've certainly got some players in this side that can absolutely be devastating on their day, and their two overseas players in particular, Clarkie, are certainly testimony to that. Kevin Peterson and also Luke Wright. You know they're going to be there for the entirety of the tournament, and they're both very dangerous campaigners.
Well, they are, but I think Peterson's got to actually perform more consistently. You know, we know what he can do, but he's well at the end of his career. But you know, he plays well off the field. He needs to do it on the field, and that's what we need to see. So, Luke Wright, I like him. I really do like him. He's an aggressive top order player, bowls well as well. So he's going to be a dominant player for the Stars this season.
Dave Hussey, of course, will be there again. It's an interesting dynamic with this side because they've got a number of players that are probably in the twilight of their career. Dave Hussey certainly fits the bill. The upside is where they're likely to have pretty good stability with those three players in particular, and it's a matter of some of these other guys batting around them. And one of those who we know, when he gets it right, just is an absolute star of the caper is Glenn Maxwell. He's probably going to missing the back half of this tournament with the Australian one-day side, but in the first half, he's capable of really letting off some fireworks.
Well, they need to perform early because you've mentioned Maxwell. You've also got Faulkner, Zampa, Hastings. Hanscom's going to be missing as well. So they need to win those early games because they're going to miss it, these guys, for Australian duties. So, one guy that I think might play an important part is Marcus Stoinis, bat and ball. And I think you've mentioned him. And he's a player of the future, I think, and he could be very, very vital for where the Stars finish this year.
They're an interesting lineup. They interest me a lot in that I think their best side's probably capable of winning everything, and they've got a bit to prove. I've got them on top to win the tournament. Your prediction, how do you see the Stars finishing here, Clark?
Yeah, well, I don't. I've got them finishing in 5th position. I think their bowling's going to be their weakness. I think they've got plenty of batting, but they're going to rely on Wright. Michael Beer might play a role. I just think they'll miss the Faulkners and that when it's really needed. So I've got them finishing 5th.
And our players to watch here, Clarkie, I'm going with the obvious in Glenn Maxwell. Yep. I love watching him in this format of the game. The shots that he invents, he's just an absolute star when he gets it right. However, there are times when he gets it wrong, he can look a little bit silly. But I'll back him in to have a big bash tournament. Who's your player to watch?
Well, I'm going with one of the overseas players in Luke Wright. I find he's just such an enthusiastic, energetic player. Opens the batting, steams in when he bowls. He just gives 100%, and that's what you want from your overseas player, and he's an exciting prospect.
He certainly is, Luke Wright, to get the job done once again for the Stars from our man Wayne Clark. That's our thoughts on the two Melbourne sides in the Big Bash for season 2016-17. Good luck if you're having a punt with TABtouch.